Hi, welcome. I'm Lily Hope, a Chilkat and Ravenstail weaver living and working in Juneau, Alaska. I am Raven Duckdane Ton from the Snail House, following my mother's people. My mother was Clarissa Rizal, who led me to this work, and it's for her and the other weavers who have left already, and for you that we do this. I also want to acknowledge my other living mentors, Patty Fiorella and Kay Parker, and Ellen Carley, actually, who have all been instrumental in my learning and my ability to share with you today. Didn't think I was going to get emotional about that. Yeah. The first step before dyeing anything is you want to prepare your skein of yarns. We're using a fingering weight, formerly Louette brand, but now it's a Malabrigo fingering weight, 100% merino wool. So it has been tied off in 6 different places. You can see it kind of figure eights between about half of the skein each, so it's going around and through and back through and around with space, right? You can see that I can put my fingers through here, and that's so that the dye stuff can get in here. All the color can get into all of the places of the yarn, and hopefully it won't tangle, right? So that's key, making sure that you have at least 6 of those throughout your little skein tied off and ready to go. Then we're going to take all of our skeins and soak them immediately into water. Just submerge it completely. And I've got another 8 skeins in here ready to go. So we have a full pound of yarn getting ready. And I'm just going to gently push the yarn down into the water and let it soak. We're going to soak our yarns for at least an hour. My mother, Clarissa Rizal, would soak hers sometimes overnight and really let that water get into the yarns. That really opens up the yarn and lets it take in any mordants that we use and all of the dye stuffs. We don't want to put dry yarn directly into our dye bath. So we're going to let that sit for 1 hour, and we'll come back to it and put it into our alum and mordant our yarns prior to dyeing. When dyeing with natural fibers, wolf moss or hemlock or copper ammonia or any other natural fibers, we can start by using a little bit of alum and sometimes cream of tartar if you really want to make it really silky and brighten everything. We're just going to start with mordant of alum for these particular skeins. We don't have to use the alum mordant when we're doing wolf moss, and sometimes not even with hemlock bark, depending on which dyer you talk to. But we're going to put about a tablespoon of alum into this pot, like this. I'm going to stir it into the water first and dissolve as much as possible. I'm going to use the back side to stir this up. We're going to dissolve the alum here and then pour it down into our hot pot of water, or it's not hot yet, because you always, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not going to shock your wool. So always pay attention to what temperature you're bringing it from and into, and don't ever take your yarns and put it into boiling water, okay? You always want to gradually bring the temperature up. So I'm dissolving all of this alum in here. I'm going to pour it into my pot, and then I'm going to bring all of my yarns and put them into the alum water. And that nicely dissolved. Do-do-do-do-do. So loud. So we're going to pour this right down in, and making sure that all the little granules, all the little granules are nicely melted. I'm going to get all those off of there too. So stirring that nicely in there, and getting that one taken care of. And then before I start putting on my heat, I do want to take my yarns like this and put them down into the pot. So we're going to just gently squeeze a little bit of this water out so we don't get it everywhere. And that is really nicely dissolved. There is no little crystals left of my alum, and I'm going to lower this down in. And we also want to be careful when we're dealing with our skeins not to tangle them too much on themselves or each other. Just gently squeezing that out. And really this is just water. I just soaked it for about an hour. Throwing that down into the pot. So I'm going to transfer all of my skeins into my alum pot and then cook this for 1 hour. Bring that up, and you really don't want to do a rolling boil, just a little simmer. So bring that up, cook it for an hour, and then let it sit. And you can even pull your allumed, I like to call it allumed, you can pull your allumed yarns out and kind of like let them dry if you want, use them later. You can hang them in part of your studio and say these ones have been mordanted already and they're ready to dye with. So you can do, you know, 8 or 10 or 12 skeins, however many will fit in your particular pot, and have those ready whenever you want. Okay? We want to make sure that our yarns have some space to breathe in the pot, and they are also completely submerged in the alum water. So really, this is almost to the top of the pot there. It's really close to the top, and I've got space for the yarns to move around in there, but they're also completely covered. We're going to turn that up to heat, get that cooking, and then they will be ready to dye whenever I'm ready to dye. We are going to turn this ammonia blue. This one's been sitting for quite a few weeks, and there are some copper pipes in here. So this is ancient technology. Who thought this up originally? Very, very smart. So much fun. I totally nerd out on the science of it. So we've got some copper pipe, went to Harry's Plumbing and Heating and had them cut these down for me. Thank you guys for that. And I'm just going to open this very fragrant thing and drop my pipes into the ammonia. You can put 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I'm going to put 4 of them in here, just like that. And then that's awesome. And I'm going to put this under my bathroom sink or away from your children, although they probably won't mess with it because it's pretty stinky. And every couple of days you're going to turn it a little bit and get that air like going around. And that's about it. Just going to let it sit and do its thing. And in a week it'll be almost like this. And this one's actually about a few months old. So we've got a nice brilliant blue inside this bottle, but that's really it. Like, you're gonna just turn it over every so often. Every other time you go potty, just go and turn your ammonia copper bottle and you'll end up with some beautiful blue. So that's the simple first step. Here we go. We've got our blue liquid that the copper has done its magic in the ammonia, and I've got a single skein in my little tote here. I'm going to pour this directly over the skein. You can also do it the reverse and pour the, let's do that actually. I'm going to do it right here. We're going to pull the skein out and pour the ammonia into the bucket and do this the other way. Again, this is really fragrant. You want to have a nicely well-ventilated area to do this. I'm just going to pour this right in. It smells like Windex. Yeah, pretty. Whew, that is fragrant. Okay. You can do this outside on your porch too. Okay, I'm going to take this little beautiful alum skein and lower it down into the blue liquid. We're really just going to give it a nice little toss in here. Stir it around. Get all the surfaces of, hoo-ha! That is awesome. And pretty immediately, the color of this liquid is going to go right into the yarns. Whew. Yeah, just a quick dip. You can see the blue is almost devoid in that liquid, and it's all in the yarn. I'm going to pull it out right away. And I'm going to go rinse this really quickly. The amazing part about this is that once the ammonia is dripping out of here, this color is going to change pretty significantly. Like, you can already see that it's getting really dark here. it's going to turn almost like a slate blue color, depending on how long you leave it in your ammonia. But really, it's just a quick dip. That is really strong. I'm going to take this and rinse it off really quick, and then put my vinegar on it and make it a nice green color. Okay, here we go. Ready? Rinsing it is going to set the color, so the ammonia is going to be grabbing into that, like grabbing onto the yarns itself. And rinse this off in the water. I would, of course, take this to the sink and just gently wash it in the sink if I had a sink on camera. So I'm going to get most of that ammonia off of there. And then you can use gloves if you like. I feel pretty safe that this isn't going to hurt my hands too much. So I'm going to pull this right out, right here. And gently, gently squeeze that out, like that. So we've got this beautiful gray color happening, and that's kind of fun. We now have our ammonia yarns. It's kind of a grayish color, and we are going to turn it seafoam green, a little light green. So here's our apple cider vinegar, organic with the mother, so it has all that sediment on the bottom. You can either leave this open and in your cabinet for many weeks and let it really age. It turns a really dark color, but we're just going to use it fresh out of the bottle. I tried to age my vinegar and had the caps off and had a whole bunch of them from Costco all aging. Somebody made chicken adobo out of mine, so we've got a fresh one. So let's see what happens. We're going to pour this little apple cider vinegar right over the yarns and watch the magic. I'm going to be pretty generous with it. Do you remember what color it was? Look, that's what color it was. Look at this beautiful seafoam green. Oh my goodness, it's magic. It's such magic. Oh my gosh. That is the green of our ancestors. Oh, that's so beautiful. What? Of course, if you are looking to weave an entire blanket with the same color, you're going to want to do 2 or 3 skeins at the same time with the same dipping and the same rinsing and all that stuff. But what kind of magic science is that?